Today we are going to talk about why a narcissist becomes frustrated whenever they cannot contact a significant other or an ex-significant other. So the reason that the narcissist, they tend to do this because they will perceive them not being able to contact their source of supply as a huge red flag. The narcissist, they expect all sources of narcissistic supply to be available for immediate provision of narcissistic fuel as soon as they reach out to that source of supply. So if the significant other starts to demonstrate non-compliance when it comes to the provision of focused narcissistic supply on demand, the narcissist will perceive this as disrespect. And this disrespect will constitute an intentional slight, an overt rejection, or a purposeful criticism of the narcissist. Here are some facts that we already know about narcissists. They are only able to see things from their own perspective. They cannot foresee consequences. They can't foresee the consequences of their own actions. They can't understand or relate to the emotions of the people that they hurt. They do not consider others in their daily actions and how their actions may affect others. And they have a lack of remorse for their actions as long as they are getting what they want. The only way they evaluate who is a more valuable asset to them than others is based on solely who provides them the most of what they want. Narcissists may be the only group of people that I can think of that stalk the people who they claim they want nothing to do with, and on the outside it looks as if in some cases they don't have anything to do with their former victims anymore, but they are very much aware of their comings and goings, and sometimes even scarier, more intimate everyday details of their lives due to stalking and spying. Their first mechanism of spying is usually the flying monkeys, or the people who surround the narcissist, those that are closely associated with the narcissist or their inner circle friends or associates. Be very careful of these people because they do not have a mind of their own. They are totally influenced by the narcissist, especially when it comes to you. They will stalk you. They will find very sneaky ways to stalk you on social media so that you will never know or find out, even if you look for evidence of the online stalking. They can reach out to your workplace, to professional organizations that you may belong to, and they will absolutely sacrifice their time, well-being, and even their life just because their narcissist master told them to. Be careful if you meet a friend of a narcissist or a flying monkey on the street, or you get a phone call from one of them and they try to force a conversation with you. Avoid them at all costs. If anything, go no contact with all of the friends of the narcissist, because in a way if they're supporting the narcissist, they are also supporting the abuse of you. Most of the time, the flying monkeys will just lie and make things up, or the narcissist, and they'll just take everything, that's been done and blame it on you. So don't try to protest things or make right with the narcissist or the flying monkeys, because they will also go to the extremes, like going to your workplace and trying to squeeze information out of coworkers, or possibly sabotaging your job or professional licenses. Narcissists can be pretty adept in technology, social media, and even grooming you from profiles and social media. and they want to know what you are made of, and they want to know even more. So, what makes you tick, what is going to piss you off, what is going to bother you, scare you, and they get off on that, and they want to preemptively gain an advantage over you because they see the stalking as a game. Keep a close eye and ear on your friends, your family, and your colleagues for any signs that the narcissist is communicating with them. They will go to such sick lengths as, like I said, putting GPS monitoring on your phone or on your car. They want you to have zero privacy, zero boundaries. They can even triangulate in stealth mode through social media by contacting your friends and your family after the discard. They, like I said previously, the flying monkeys, they will usually utilize them first to do all of their stalking, at least at first. Physical stalking, driving by, showing up unexpectedly, coincidentally, a little too bit of a coincidence. Before or after the discard, in their cluster B cookie cutter bullshittery, they truly do believe that they own you, and they love knowing that they are getting a rise out of you and probably scaring you. Alert your boss or your coworkers or whoever it may be that there is a possibility of stalking and harassment going on, and don't just confide this in anyone. Keep a close eye and ear on your friends, your family, and your colleagues for any signs that the narcissist is communicating with them. They will go to such sick lengths as on social media. This is probably the bigger one. They are going to create false profiles, false emails, aliases, and they can even triangulate in stealth mode through social media by contacting your friends and your family after the discard. They, like I said previously, the flying monkeys, they will usually utilize them first to do all of their stalking, at least at first. Physical stalking, driving by, showing up unexpectedly, coincidentally, a little too bit of a coincidence. Before or after the discard, in their cluster B cookie cutter bullshittery, they truly do believe that they own you, and they love knowing that they are getting a rise out of you and probably scaring you. Because these slippery snakes have groomed you, and you must remember that. They secured you, they discarded you, and they will hoover you, and in the same fashion, no matter how much time has gone by. So during the idealization phase, the narcissist will subsist on a significant other's positive words and their gestures. So it is just a matter of time before the narcissist figures out that his or her significant other has let the narcissist down in some way by not living up to the narcissist's expectations. And given that the narcissist's impression that the significant other no longer values the narcissist when they had formerly done so. And based on a myriad of interpersonal relationship accounts, it appears that the roughly 6-month mark of the narcissist neurotypical relationship, the narcissist will start to find that euphoria buzz that accompanies infatuation tends to ebb or lessen and lift a little bit. So the love bombing starts to kind of drift away. And it should come as no surprise that when a narcissist begins to suffer euphoria withdrawals, as the euphoria buzz of newfound love fades, the narcissist will simultaneously find him or herself bored and far less patient with his or her significant other, inclined to observe that his or her significant other has flaws and blemishes which the narcissist had not previously recognized or noticed. So in conclusion, the narcissist will become incredibly frustrated if he or she is not in control of this interpersonal relationship dynamic at all times. Moreover, the narcissist seemingly does not care about his or her significant other's needs. Rather, the narcissist expects to do whatever he or she wants with whoever he or she wants, whenever they want to do it. and any sign of their significant other not towing the narcissist's appropriate behavioral lines, such as not being present and accounted for whenever the narcissist wants the significant other to be available for supply duties, the narcissist will become frustrated. So the narcissist's growing frustration will culminate in his or her trying different behavioral approaches to manipulate and reestablish control, such as being kind, then cruel, then kind again, the hot and cold, off and on. A mixture of mostly cruel and somewhat kind, then mostly kind, somewhat cruel, and then equally cruel and equally kind, and then just cruel all of the time, and so on and so forth, and on into infinity. What it is like living with a covert narcissist. You move in together, and a short time after living with them, you start to notice these behaviors that you never saw before, and all of a sudden, there are all of these rules that you must follow, but they don't follow those same rules. They have double standards. They start nitpicking and complaining about every single thing that you do or you don't do and who you are. And you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. They pick on traits that you might have and that are very much a part of that of you that they were fully aware of during the time that was leading up to you living with them. So as they were getting to know you, and now all of these characteristics that they found attractive and endearing about you in the beginning are the cause of their misery. They are going to constantly run hot and cold, leaving you completely off balance because you will never know which one of their personas that you are going to be dealing with. You will begin to believe that it really is your fault, because how could somebody tell you all of the things that they did and then treat you so horribly yet love you the next day? How could they be so unhappy with you all of the time? You must be a terrible person, or so you begin to think. Sometimes they become unbelievably controlling and demand that you change everything about yourself. And when you actually do make the efforts to change, they'll pretend they don't notice it, and they may or may not notice it, but they will instead find something else about you to berate you about. They will all of a sudden come up with some great gift or start making plans for the future again. That's called future faking. And you think, okay, finally, they are back to being the nice guy or girl that I know. And so this is where it starts to get really bad. You start doubting yourself all of the time. You're walking around in a fog. You can barely drag yourself out of bed. Even if you are a successful career man or woman who typically makes wise, thought out, and insightful decisions and is in fact sought out by their peers and colleagues to help them make business and personal decisions. And yes, I'm saying this based on the narcissist, or I'm not saying this being based on a narcissist being male or female, because obviously I try to make this as gender neutral as possible. But you will find yourself thinking that your decisions are actually wrong and that there is something wrong with you. And cortisol and peptide changes, and these are things that are literally changing your brain chemistry. And you wonder, how the hell did I get myself into this position, and what is wrong with me? How could I have been so wrong about who this person is? And you constantly engage in this nonsensical battle where you entered a conversation just to talk about something important to you, or maybe just to get the narcissist's opinion about something. And all of a sudden you find yourself defending yourself about something that has nothing to do with what you even wanted to discuss in the first place. And you will be confronted with logic and reasoning that is reminiscent of a third grade playground. And no matter how many ways you try to explain the point that you were trying to make, they will not hear you. And no matter what you say, it will be met with a, oh, so what you're saying is blah, 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 blah. The narcissist putting words in your mouth. That is not at all what you were saying. And they will storm off, acting victorious as though the conversation was for the sole purpose of them to be proving themselves right. And it was. You will not even want to have conversations after a certain point with the narcissist, and you may even be avoiding the narcissist as you are trying to live around each other. What it feels like, you feel like you are sleeping next to a stranger, and anytime there is any disagreement, no matter how tiny or inconsequential, they will throw in the whole kitchen sink, bringing up every single thing that you have done or not done, and they let you know that you are being viewed, and they really do believe that you are wrong and inconsiderate, no matter how irrelevant. And my narcissist's favorite thing to call me was ungrateful. They will also bring up stuff that you told them that may have happened long before you met them, and somehow act as if it was done against them, and use that for ammo, or bring up things that you said in confidence to them about things that you don't like about yourself, or personal secrets, or family family secrets, and throw those things at you in an effort to degrade you and once again make you feel like you are wrong and they are in the right and that they are better than you. And even though they are bringing up all of this stuff, none of it has any relevance to the issue at hand. You will find yourself sadly constantly apologizing for things that you should not ever apologize for, and they will never apologize for anything ever, no matter how obviously inconsiderate or inappropriate their behaviors and their actions are or were. And you will finally realize that you had no idea that the person you are living with is a monster, and you will discover that you are in fact living with a complete stranger. Why does it seem like the narcissist and the empath can have almost a seemingly perfect relationship almost? And here are two different perspectives. It can seem perfect on the inside and out as long as the following factors are in play. And number one being that the relationship is still in the seduction or idealization or love bombing phase. This is where the narcissist is all but sticky sweet, dripping charm, and the empath is experiencing the sugar rush of a lifetime and from all of that love bombing. I kind of call it the gingerbread house effect. Number two is that the empath does and behaves exactly as the narcissist requires them to, without any question. And this includes being able to read their mind, which is nearly impossible. This, of course, would mean that the empath has to give up their individuality on every single level that is humanly possible, and accept that they are an object and an extension of the narcissist, ready to bend to the narcissist's will and tend to their every whim. And I am not one to judge, as we all have a right to our own perceptions. So all of these relationships are eventually going to fail if they are with a true narcissist or somebody high on the narcissistic spectrum. Any relationship with a narcissist starts off with the illusion of perfection, but like most illusions, they don't last. And for a relationship to function in a healthy way, the parties involved should at least want more or less of the same thing out of the relationship and work together towards achieving those things. In any relationship with a narcissist, what the narcissist wants and what the empath wants are absolutely worlds apart. Narcissists just cannot be bothered to care about such trivial matters as what a person might want, especially their significant other. Their driving force lies in acquiring narcissistic supply and narcissistic fuel, so they will go to great lengths to go and get it. As the empath, on the other hand, will be looking for a genuine connection and expecting reciprocity for their affection, attention, and consideration that they so readily give their loved ones. And they will never receive this from a narcissist, no matter how much of themselves they give, until there is nothing left even. And most of the time that is the case. Narcissists are not wired to connect or reciprocate genuinely, as once the seduction and the honeymoon phase is over, the real horror of the narcissistic abuse and manipulation starts to unfold. It can never be a perfect union between an empath and a narcissist, because the narcissist always feels threatened that the empath may get a one-up on them, so they constantly manage expectations and sabotage the relationship behind the empath's back. If the empath is begging and pleading the narcissist just to be sensible, the narcissist won't. They derive pleasure from this sense of superiority and putting other people down. And when they get bored with that, they will be all nicey nice and try to extract a positive source of supply from the empath. Anyone with any feelings knows this is not fair treatment and will not tolerate it. Then the fights happen as the empath snaps on the narcissist for being pretty much a big douchebag, and then insults the narcissist and exposes them for the douchebag that they are, causing a narcissistic injury. And narcissists, they don't like that, and they will distance or discard you until they want your attention again. And it could be days, months, or even years. Most empaths and narcissists have one notable similarity. They are both highly sensitive. Empaths are highly sensitive to other people's feelings. They care about these feelings and they go out of their way to demonstrate it. Narcissists are very sensitive to their own feelings as they care about these feelings and they go out of their way to demonstrate it. They do not feel the feelings of others. So here are the best ways that you can take revenge from a person with narcissistic personality disorder. Do not take any revenge at all. Let them be who they are, because taking revenge from an immature child makes us basically as narcissistic as they are in a way. Walk away completely. Go full no contact. True no contact, cutting everything off, including their numbers and any mode of communication that you can think of, especially social media. Do not look at their social media. Do not allow them to contact you on anything, because they do absolutely know and understand your weaknesses no matter what. They will manipulate you again and drag you into their game or back into the fold. If they have been able to manipulate you or manipulate us from day one, then they will absolutely do it again, over and over and over and over. They don't exist in your dictionary. They are dead people to you, thin air. You ignore them and walk away. If you are allowed the option for them to hoover, and they already did, ignore them completely. That will drive a narcissist absolutely insane. When you ignore them, that is a narcissist kryptonite. It makes them go crazy, but you have to do this, not for that reason, the revenge reason, but do it for your own good. And absolutely do not beg, do not plead, don't ask them to take you back, don't apologize to them profusely or at all for anything, because if anybody should have been apologizing, it's the narcissist, and that's something you will never get. You should not apologize to anybody for allowing them to abuse you, for letting them take your self-respect and your self-love and your self-value. You deserve all of those things. Be the mature one to walk away from a toxic relationship and toxic people in your life, and that includes family, bosses, whoever it may be, no matter how hard it is. And remembering, this is very important too, that you are no one to save them. They cannot be saved. There is no cure for NPD. There is no therapy that can help a narcissist, and it's highly unlikely that a narcissist would even seek therapy to begin with, because they believe they are perfect and that there is nothing wrong with them. It is more often than not, the narcissist victims who seek out therapy. You say you love them, and you should always remember that mature love, it is built on respect, value, care, love, and not codependency, not rescuing people so that they will love you. You are not Mother Mary and no angel from God that was sent to rescue some narcissist. This means they will ruin your entire life, and you will be completely enslaved to them as long as you have this mindset that there is something that can be done. And if you're sitting around waiting for them to change, you will wait forever, essentially. You must make peace with your inner self. Your mind and convince yourself that you were lied to, that you were conned, and that the person who manipulated you never existed. It was just an illusion, and this illusion was presented well by the narcissist, who has presented this illusion to many people before you and will present it to everyone after you. When a narcissist comes up with excuses or reasonings for abuse, like I'm struggling at home at the moment, or I'm fighting with my parents, or having issues at work, there is some truth to it. And probably at work, he or she could be feeling unwanted or insecure, but it by far does not and never will make the excuse. It does not excuse someone making someone else feel the same way to resolve it. And that is the one thing that a narcissist will never understand.